Do you want to make crazy hard new jazz beats like this?
Hey Jiorno, you won.
Well, I got you. Let's get into the breakdown. So the defining characteristic for a good new jazz beat is a 6-5-1 chord progression. So the first instrument I used was this bass one shot, just to get the main chord progression and groove down. Then I used an organ one shot, so I can slide the notes and get that kind of goofy new jazz sound. I also layered it with the same notes as the bass line. Next, I laid that organ with this string one shot, and again it's the exact same notes, just up or down a few octaves. Then after that, I just have this lead playing on the one or like the last chord of the progression. And it does have a slide, and again, that's just to kind of get that goofy new jazz sound. Then of course, we have the staple new jazz repetitive lead over the top. A few tips for getting these sort of leads down is to try using thirds to create a bit of a groove. Using flams or little notes before the main note that you want to put down is also a good way of creating a vibe. Also, another really helpful tip is just to stick within a small range. So within mine, I've only used a range of like 4 notes in the scale. And again, I have used the exact same notes as what's in the bass line, they're just rearranged in a different order. I added this little brass one shot for the end of the loop, just to give it some spice for when it loops back around, just to, a little bit of ear candy at the end. Then finally, I added this effects sound from Serum, just to layer under it, bit of ear candy for when it loops around, and if I want to take some main instruments out, it's not going to sound as empty. So after all that, this is what the loop sounds like. Now for the new jazz drums, they are a little different to traditional drum patterns. Most notably is the range of sounds. So within my new jazz beats, I like to use 2 claps, tons of perks, just to really fill in that space and create quite a unique groove. Like percussion wise, you really do want to go all out and use tons of different sounds. Try not to stick on the grid with some of your percussion. Try to create different kind of grooves. So starting off, I added these 4 808s. I know it sounds like a lot, but new jazz is basically like every 808 note is a different 808 sound or sample. And again, they do have the staple new jazz slides. They do follow the 6-5-1. I've just either transposed them up or down an octave just to make it a little bit different. And this is what it sounds like. Next, we have our hi-hat pattern. And I like to use a few rolls and also utilize a lot of gaps because we're going to have a lot of percussion. You kind of want to make a bit of space so that you can hear that percussion and the hi-hat isn't just taking up all of that room. I also added a little open hat on the one. This is what they both sound like. Next, we have our 2 claps. So personally, I like to use a counter clap and a main clap. The main clap is on every 1 and 3 and the counter clap on every 2 and 4. For my counterclaps and in my new jazz beats, I really like making kind of like a little groove or little roll with them. Personally, I just like how it sounds. Then we also have a little rim shot perk just in between the claps just to give it a bit of ear candy. And finally, for the end of the drum loop, just so it doesn't sound like it's looping over and over again, I do have these 2 little bongo hits and some open hats. I just wanted to thank you guys for watching, and make sure to check out the Discord. We do have a growing community full of crazy producers and artists, and I do also drop a lot of my loops and kits on there, so make sure to lock in with that. Anyway, here's the final product. Hope you guys liked it.
Hey, Jiorno, you won.